Good morning, Year 7. Today we're going to be looking at a poem about first love. In fact, that's what it's called. But before we begin on the poem, imagine that you were given the opportunity to meet someone famous that you really admire. What would you say to them and how would you feel, do you think? So our learning objective today is to analyse First Love by John Clare. As ever, that doesn't go into the book, but the title does. First Love by John Clare. Just a quick check, make sure we've got everything that we need. A pen and your book, a copy of the poem, which I'll attach to class charts, and some highlighters and coloured pens. Well, how would you have got on then? Hello, I think you're brilliant. It's not very cool, is it? Or would you just simply not be able to speak? How would you feel? Nervous, shocked, excited, of all of those things together, I imagine. As ever, we look at the title first. It's very easy with poetry to not really take in the title. You'd be surprised how many people don't do that, but you should, because a lot of thought obviously goes into the title and it will tell you a lot about the poem. So first love, well, I think we can guess what or rather work out from the title what the poem's going to be about. It's probably going to be romantic, mushy stuff with references to roses and hearts. First means that this feeling hasn't happened before. It could have some kissing in it. The crazy intense feelings that you cannot explain, like teenage crushes. You don't need to write any of that down, just have a read of it. Okay, stick the poem, which I've attached to class charts, into your book and we're going to annotate it together. But first of all, we have to give it our first reading. So get the thing in your hand and read along. And I can't emphasise enough how important it is to read these poems out loud. Poetry is meant to be read out loud, and it's an entirely different experience in terms of your understanding of a poem if you do read it out loud, because there'll be rhythmical rhythms in it that you can find and so on. So read them out loud. It makes all the difference. If you only read your poetry at GCSE in your head, I would argue that you lose a grade by doing that. So read it out loud. Right, here it is, First Love. I ne'er was struck before that hour with love so sudden and so sweet. Her face it bloomed like a sweet flower and stole my heart away complete. My face turned pale as deadly pale, my legs refused to walk away, and when she looked, what could I ail? My life and all seemed turned to clay. And then my blood rushed to my face and took my eyesight quite away. The trees and bushes round the place seemed midnight at noonday. I could not see a single thing, words from my eyes did start. They spoke as chords do from the string, and blood burnt round my heart. Are flowers the winter's choice? Is love's bed always snow? She seemed to hear my silent voice, not love's appeals to know. I never saw so sweet a face as that I stood before. My heart has left its dwelling place and can return no more. Wow, have you ever felt like that yet? It's early days yet, but if you haven't, you've got that to look forward to. Anyway, so who do you think is the speaker? And what do you think the poem is about? Just answer both of those questions in full sentences. Well, the speaker is someone young who has just fallen in love at first sight. What do you think the poem is about? The feelings and sensations, both physical and emotional, that are experienced by the speaker because they are in love. That's what it's about. There's no hidden meaning to this poem. It is what it is, and it's very good for that. Right, we're looking at the poem in detail now, stanza by stanza, and in case you've forgotten, stanzas are the verses in poetry, but they're always called stanzas. I want you to annotate your poem with the annotations I've got on here. So I ne'er was struck before that hour, so love at first sight. The sibilance, so sudden and so sweet, makes the moment more intense and pleasurable. Sibilance is all the S's there, so sudden and so sweet. And then her face it bloomed like a sweet flower. As a simile to describe the feelings. Bloomed flower suggests blushing and that she looks natural and beautiful. Contrast with the speaker's face, which is deadly pale, suggesting pain. Have you ever heard the term lovesick? My life and all seem turned to clay. This is an unpleasant comparison. The speaker is frozen on the spot. Everything seems heavy and slow. The word all shows that his feelings have affected everything. In your books, write a quick sentence, well, a sentence, enough to be quick, explaining what this stanza is about. Use a quotation to support your point. Right, here we are. And then my blood rushed to my face and took my eyesight quite away. Repetition of words to do with sight. Eye, sight, could not see, eyes, to emphasize that the speaker has lost their sight, also reflects the theme of love at first sight. Seemed midnight at noonday. The use of the contrast there to show the intensity of the speaker's feelings. Midday has turned to midnight, metaphorically blinded by love. Words for my eyes did start. What does that mean? Confusing line. How can I speak? Reveals that the speaker is unable to communicate verbally. They've been kind of struck dumb by their love. Plosive, blood burnt. That plosive just means those two words. It's like alliteration, but more. It's alliterative, but it's more powerful. Blood burnt. You see the way you say it. It's explosive, plosive. Highlighting the violent intensity of the emotion being experienced. Burnt is sensory language connected to feeling. Further suggests that love is painful. So again, in your books, write a sentence explaining what this stanza is about and use a quotation to support your point. Right, here we are, more annotations on the final stanza. And there's all these rhetorical questions in here. Are flowers the winter's choice? Rhetorical questions suggesting that the speaker is confused by his feelings. Reference to winter and snow now suggests a coldness, contrasting with the burning in the previous stanza. Love is fire and ice, perhaps? She seemed to hear my silent voice. The speaker doesn't know she has understood his feelings, even though nothing has been said. Metaphor. My heart has left its dwelling place. Metaphor, suggesting that the speaker has lost their heart forever and will never be the same again. The positioning of no more as the final comment adds significance to this point that things have changed forever by the speaker. So get those annotations onto your poem and write a short a sentence explaining what this stanza is about. Use a quotation to support your point. Right, we've looked at how each stanza focuses on a different experience being felt by the speaker. You should have something like this. They cannot move and look ill. They cannot see. They have lost their heart and their life will never be the same. Being in love sounds like incredibly hard work, doesn't it? Now think about these points. Write your answer in your books. Why has the poet chosen to write in the first person? Why has the poet chosen to use a regular alternate rhyming pattern? Answer both those questions in full sentences. Why has a person chosen to write in the first person, I? The poem is personal. The speaker is talking directly to the reader about something which is intimate and private. Why has the poet chosen to use a regular alternate rhyming pattern? The rhyming makes the poem feel gentle and calm. It carries the reader from beginning to the end, from first look to lost heart, all of which happens in a moment. Before we finish, what advice would you give the speaker? Too much, find another person. There's plenty more fish in the sea. Talk to her. Lucky you, enjoy every minute. Stop being so stupid, of course your life hasn't changed. Or sit down and take a moment, you've lost all perspective. All sound advice, really. The part I want you to upload is the annotations of the poems, please, Year 7. So upload your annotated poems to class charts for me. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.